Well, there's been a new arrival on Piccadilly sidings, so stay tuned and all will be revealed. Well, good evening everyone and welcome back to Piccadilly Sidings. Just a quick update. Unfortunately, I've not had any time to carry on with the dinting station build on the N gauge, so I will do that when I can. But in the meantime, this has turned up, so let's take a look. Now, I know I'm not first to the party with these, but this is the all-new GNR livery. There's the box. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, just before I get it out, there is, I don't know whether it's designed as like a bookcase type thing, but it's a strange decision to have one end open. And I have removed a circle of tape from each end here. So it did seem a bit strange because obviously if you tip it up like that, they're all going to fall out. Why they've decided not to do that, maybe it's a cost thing, or whether it's a conscious decision, I don't know. But anyway, that's the way they've done it. So let's open one up and we'll actually look at a real coach. Although I've had the boxes out of the box, so to speak, i.e. this to this level, I've not actually taken the coach out of the packaging. So you can see it's a nicely presented box. This is a bit flimsy, this bit, but okay. Oh, I think, are they running boards? Not sure, but they're quite nicely secured into the ice cube style packaging. And I'll first look at the coach. I mean, for the size of it, it's quite weighty, to be fair. It's really quite weighty. Oh, that must be a spare running board if you break it. It does appear to be metal. But wow, look at that. I spoke to the lady on the phone when she phoned me to say that the pack was in and that they'd created a grain effect down the side of the coach, and they really have. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If I can get it to come in a bit closer. There you can see, look at that. I'm just looking at that GNR there, and that is beautifully done. That is so crisp. And the third on the door there. Very nicely done, and you can really see the grain on the side paneling there. It does look like wood. They've really done a fantastic job with that. Separately fitted handrails on the doors and door handles by the looks of it. Minor thing, the windows do look a little bit fishbowly, as if they're sort of curving round at the edges, but I am being very picky. And look at the rivet work on the wheels there. Beautifully done. And the chassis as well. And for those of you interested, it's not sprung buffers. Seems to be a bit of a thing with sprung buffers, isn't it? Just seen Sam's video on the TT range, and there's no sprung buffers on the TT either. As is not on N gauge, by the way. But yeah, that's beautifully done. I'm not sure whether these are gas or electrically fitted. I'm not sure, but somebody out there will know, I'm certain. But again, very nicely done. I mean, it looks like we have to be really quite careful there. That piece has gone in front of the wheel there, which I'm sure would cause a few issues if we allowed it to carry on like that. But no, that's absolutely gorgeous. And obviously we've got the steps going up to the roof there, and obviously the handrails down the side. These particular coaches have the lighting fitted, So we'll look at that shortly. I'll just get the others out of the box and we'll have a look at those. And here we have the four-wheeled brake, if you like. And the windows at the end there. So we've got obviously this pipe work coming up the side at the end there, and that obviously connects up to the lighting system inside. So it does imply that this is probably an electrical version. I'm not sure though, but it's equally to the same standard as the previous one. So you've got guard written there, luggage 7.5, or is that 75? Not sure. Might be the number of the coach. But again, very nicely printed, and you can see clearly with the shadows there, the rivets on the sole bar. And the running board, as I said before, is metal. So that's the four-wheeled variety. Oh, and the ducats on the end there, so there would be a little window, is there, on the end of that? I'm not sure I can get to see that. I think there is. Yes, there is there, you can see. Forgive the shadow on that, but can't see any other way of doing it. Let's have a look at the other side. That might be a bit clearer. Yeah, you can clearly see there is a window there, and quite a handrail on that side, isn't there? It's quite large, but very nicely done. Right, on with the six-wheeled ones then. So just to compare the length of the four-wheel to the six-wheeled, you can see that the six-wheels are a bit longer, probably by an extra compartment. So I'll put that one down. And these ones, the detail would be exactly the same, but these ones have this sliding wheel. Now, some of you may remember the old Palthorpe wagon, i.e. this. Now, this dated back to the 1970s, and this was the Hornby offering. And you can see I've removed the wheel, and the idea, obviously, that would slide back and forth. Now, you can see I fixed it with some white tag, and the reason for doing that and removing the wheels because it was constantly derailing and causing issues. So I thought it was easier just to remove the wheel and fix that section there. So it will be very interesting to see how this one works in comparison to this. Now, bearing in mind we're probably 40 years on or 50 years on, so it will be interesting. I don't think there'll be any issues with this one, to be honest. And when I've seen other people doing the reviews of these coaches, of previous liveries, I've not come across anybody who said anything about the derailing side of it. So that will be interesting to see. Just have a quick look around this particular version. This one is very heavy, even than this one. I mean, I know it's bigger, but there is a considerable more weight in this one than there is in the four-wheeled coaches. But that is absolutely amazing. Now, I understand the roof comes off, so I'll investigate that and then we'll have a look inside. Well, it does say that the roof comes off, and but it is very tightly fitted. Wow. It's, you know, when you see some of the coaches that are being produced and all the interior is exactly the same colour because it's just a printed, a moulded shell, this does stand out. Shame about the moulding marks on the floor, mind, but you're not going to see those from when the train's going round. But it's nice that you can get figures in there if you want to, you know, and obviously a large space for that. Again, it is a shame about these window bars, but again, how else would you do it? I think I'd probably do a very similar sort of thing if I was doing it myself. But no, I'm very impressed with that. So if you are taking the roof off to DCC fit them, I think you just have to be a bit careful. Now, the actual fitting of the DCC, it says you would have to unplug or unscrew the 4 screws there, and obviously the one at the far end, and there is a DCC plug at the end there. Now that is going to be a Next18 decoder. Now if you've been in the know for a little while, you will realise that Next18 decoders are becoming very, very scarce. But to be honest with you, I am of the opinion, for a coach, why would you want to DCC fit the coach? Just to purely have the ability to turn the coach lighting on and off, you know, via the decoder. I'm not that bothered about having the lighting on all the time, to be honest. So, you know, I'm going to leave my lighting without DCC control. And yeah, I was a bit nervous about doing that on camera, but it's gone back on. But yeah, so I will just put these on the track and I will have the lights on all the time. Some people I know don't like that, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But I am very happy with these coaches. And again, just looking at the textures on the side of there, the wood paneling, and every panel does look to be a little bit different, as it would be. You know, I'm again noticing down here and down this bit and up there, they're all different. And again, different on each coach. They're not necessarily printed all the same. I mean, even this bit here is different to this bit here, you know, and so on and so on and so on. Right, let's get these on the track and see what they look like. Well, you can see they're on the track, and the lighting does look absolutely beautiful. Now, if I take you a bit closer, and how gorgeous that does look. Get down as far as I can. I know this is a bit close, but you can even see the smoking sign on there. Obviously, there would have been smoking carriages and non-smoking carriages. Trying to see if I could pick out the railings inside, but not quite. The luggage racks, I mean. But you can see how beautifully they sit on the track. And if I take you down to the end, you can see the end of the coach is lit too. Well, it's not all good news, I'm afraid. They might look amazing. The lighting looks fantastic, but you remember I pointed out on the Palthorpe wagon this centre wheel. Well, when I first put them on the track, the 6-wheel coaches were constantly derailing. And in the end, I removed the middle wheel incoming. So there it is. Now, as beautiful as that is, they just seem a little bit on the big side. Now, the reason I say that is because the centre wheels were acting like the pivot point of a seesaw. And so every time you come across a piece of track which is the slightest little bit uneven, and this isn't the most well-laid track I've ever done on this layout, I have to be honest, but even the slightest thing, the front wheel would come off, and it was just becoming an absolute nightmare. So I swapped out the centre wheel for an older one. You might be able to see the difference in there, and that works fine. So just by using one of these old 1970s wheel sets, it's improved this no end. But the second thing I found was then, once I'd done that coach there started derailing. Now, part of it is because the Traverser has got a lot of problems at the moment. It's not worked as well as I hoped, and getting one end matched up is okay, but then getting the other end to match up at the same time is much more of a nightmare. So I'm thinking about what to do with that. I don't know at the moment. I'm having to think of different solutions. But I thought, well, I'll check the back-to-backs. And every single wheel across the whole train was out. Sometimes up to 1 millimetre. Sometimes probably 0.5 millimetre, but nevertheless, that's enough to derail a train. So I've adjusted that. I've made some slight adjustments to the Traverser, and it's made a huge effect. So they now go round the track, I'm saying carefully, without derailing. So we can enjoy the train as it's meant to. Now, the other part, which is not so much Hattons, but I've had to use that terrier as opposed to that terrier, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, to be honest. It's because there's a gearing issue in the beige one. So the green one will have to do. It is heritage line. I'm not going to apologise for that. And I'm sure on a heritage line you would get any locomotive pulling any set of stock. So let's see it pull off, and we'll take it from there. So what do we reckon to these new Genesis coaches that have come out in the last few days in the GNR livery? Well, I can't fault the livery. It is absolutely beautiful. They really have captured this wood effect that they were after, the teak effect. And there's so many separately fitted parts. The detailing, as we've come to expect from so many different manufacturers, is just above and beyond. I can't fault that. The lighting looks fantastic, and if you do want to spend well over £100 on decoders to fit to them, you're very, very welcome to do so, for the privilege of being able to click one button and they all come off and go on when you want them to. But as I said before, I'm choosing to leave them with the blanking plates because the lights just work and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. However, as I said before, there are some quality control issues, in the sense that there is a derailing issue. On my track, certainly, whether it be on yours is another matter. The centre wheel just seems to be a tad on the big side for being the centre wheel, because it acts a bit like a seesaw. And once that centre wheel catches a high point in your track, then the other two sets of wheels will just pop off. And there's not a lot you can do about that, I'm afraid, other than swap it out for a slightly smaller wheel, which is what I've done. I will paint that up just to kind of match and take away the shine that's on that one, but that's just a paint job, so it won't be a big issue whatsoever. Yeah, the other issue that I found was the back-to-backs, and every single wheel was out. It wasn't difficult to put them back in because you've got a spacer in between the wheels, and it's just a case of closing those wheels onto the spacer, but they run so much better for it. So I think it's just quality control. I dare say when you're pushing thousands of these wheels together in a day, you know, some are bound to slip through. You know, I'm not knocking it from that point of view, but at the end of the day, we pay a lot of money for our coaches. I mean, this set has cost £135 for the four. It would be a little bit more, I think, if you bought them separately, and slightly less if you bought them without the light unit fitted. But again, that's a personal choice thing. But on the whole, now I've got them running properly. The back-to-backs are fixed, the central wheels have been replaced. I'm really happy with them. I can't argue with that anymore. So I think what I'll do is I'll pull this away
and I will say bye. And I will see you hopefully again on one or the other layouts. I'm not sure quite what's going on at the moment. Life is just very hectic. Okay, I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself and bye for now.